Another thing that you really need to have is good work between yourself and Larry, the director. I know you guys have gone back a few years working on Felicity and Alias, and by far the biggest response that we got from our readers, they want to know if there are any plans for a reunion of sorts of either as a movie or, as I've heard, there's rumors that ABC might reboot Alias as a potential new ongoing series.
I heard that too, like Alias 2.0 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. J.J. Abrams is my closest friend, and so I will definitely check with him on that. Every time I think to ask him, I just haven't asked him. I would love to do a movie. I think I don't necessarily think Felicity lends itself to a movie, to be honest. I just, it feels more like a TV show to me, unless all of a sudden we found out that, Scott Speedman's character is a vampire or something. Now, that would work. But I think...
Stay topical, right?
Right, it'd be topical. It'd be like suddenly it would be like Twilight. I mean, that's the only thing we were missing back then was,
exactly.
Some sort of a superhero aspect to that show. I think that there definitely could be the two shows I've been lucky enough to be in. Like Alias, I think for sure could be a movie, especially with Jennifer. I mean, she is Alias. She was Alias. Sydney Bristow. I don't think you can replace Jen Garner in any of the roles she's ever played. And I don't think, if you try and reboot it and put another actress in, it's just not the same show. You might as well call it something else because she put such a stamp on that show. If we did a movie, I would love to do it. And I think, with JJ being the director that he is and doing MI3 and all this stuff, we could do just such a kind of a ramped up version of Alias for the theaters. It would be great. I'd love to do that. And then, the other show that I think could be a movie would be Heroes. So I think, those two have the potential, but you never know. And it's, as an actor, it's just so not up to me. That was one of the things I loved about Group Sex is I had more control. I put on a different hat. I was producing and I co-wrote it and starring. And so, I got a little taste of that, and it's very addictive when, for an actor, because throughout your whole career, you're kind of at the beck and call to other people to hire you and stuff. And it was really fun to be able to put those other hats on and see if I could do that.
That's awesome. Another popular query from our readers was you mentioned that your lifelong friendship almost with J.J. Abrams. They want to know if you're going to be popping up, since you pop up in almost everything he touches. You're almost like, quote unquote, his good luck charm. The popular queries are you going to be popping up in Super 8 and the Star Trek sequel? Now, I know you had a bit role as the stepdad's voice in Star Trek 1, but do you see yourself getting involved in Star Trek 2 and or Super 8 or any of these other upcoming projects?
Yeah. I mean, I get into the same position that I'm always in, where I'm so jealous of these great ideas that become great movies that JJ's involved in. I mean, anything he does, he's just so good. He's so good. And so, and I talked to, we're close friends. So I'm constantly, and he'll be the first to admit this, I'm constantly begging and pleading, find me something in Super 8. Oh, that looks awesome. That sounds great. We constantly run ideas by each other like any friends do. And, I talk to him every day, and I'm always saying, oh, cool. Yeah. Is there a role for like, a big Jew in that movie? Maybe. Is there something? I'm always trying to stick myself in there. So hopefully, yes. Hopefully I'll have something. And actually, I was supposed to play Olsen in Star Trek, the red shirt who doesn't pull his cord and dies. Right. So I'm actually glad that actor did a great job, and that would have been a fun role. But I'd love to play something that could reoccur, in the series, in the film series. So it was actually good that my face wasn't on screen, and hopefully I can play something. So, but it's up to that. I mean, I trust. He's always been just so amazing to me. First of all, as a friend, but also, he gives me great roles. Great. I mean, my cameo in Lost, I was on screen for 5 minutes, and people are still talking about it. So,
definitely. Speaking of all the characters you played many. Which one has been your favorite that you played so far?
Well, I mean, since we're talking about Group Sex, that's got to be just it's just a blast to play. I cannot wait. I have a new show called Love Bites for NBC, and it's comedy, and I hope it works. We're about to start shooting that show now. I mean, comedy is what I really love to do. And, I have to say, though, Matt Parkman was probably probably my favorite character to play, just because it had kind of a bunch of things going on. I mean, I was able to be funny at times. I was able to be, have some action, and it was kind of the end of the world. I wish there was more sometimes in a show like that. So, but Matt Parkman, I would think, and also, Jerry in Group Sex for sure.
Okay, absolutely. You mentioned before that you've worked with a lot of great people and you've had the honor of working with, you have a short list of people that you really want to work with. Can you name one or two that you haven't worked with yet that you really want to work with coming up?
Yeah. Let's see. I just worked with Janine Garofalo, who I wanted to work with. I did a Funny or Die that's running right now called Idiots. It's really funny.
Awesome.
Tom Hanks is somebody that I so want to work with. I can't even begin to tell you. I was in Lady Killers, which is a movie that he was in with the Coen brothers, but we didn't have a scene together. Mm-hmm. So I'm I'm still 1 degree away from working with him.
Right.
Who else would I love to? I mean, I've been really, really lucky to work with some great people. Jim Carrey, I want to work with so bad. I actually want to work with Bradley Cooper, who I worked with on Alias. People forget that he was on Alias.
Oh, absolutely.
But I'd love to work with Bradley in in a buddy comedy or in an ensemble comedy, because he's awesome. And so that's somebody. Even though I've worked with him already, I'd want to work with him in a different capacity.
Yeah, I think he'd be hilarious. I think that'd be a great show.
It'd be so much fun. Yeah, and then someone I just worked with. I just worked with Jennifer Love Hewitt in Love Bites, and I'd love to work with her again. But as far as like that wish list, I mean, Tom Hanks is pretty much at the top of the list.
Wow, I'm sure he's at the top of many people's lists. He's quite an amazing actor. Okay, now the series is over. We know that you're great friends with JJ. You share a lot of things. Back when Lost, the series started, did you know how it was going to end? Did he share the ending with you? You can spill the beans now.
Back then?
Yeah, back then.
Back at the beginning, I wasn't even asking for what was going to be the end. I mean, I didn't know.
Yeah.
What I originally was like, I was like, wait a minute, Gilligan's Island? The drama? I'm like, what? Really? And JJ opened my eyes to the fact that, when you think, well, you're on an island. There's really nothing you can do. You're so limited at that moment. Mm-hmm. That's where my mind is thinking, and his mind and Damon's mind is going. Yeah, it's limitless. Like there's nothing you can't do. Right. And so that just speaks volumes for how creative he was. And so I was just worried about how this series is going to sustain itself. Mm-hmm. And man, I mean, it's one of the best TV shows ever. So
yeah.
I wasn't clued into the ending. There's certain things I love to be kept in the dark about. Right. They'll run ideas by me. JJ will, at least, when he wants my opinion on something. But that was something. I'm such a fan of that show, and I've always been. So I didn't want it to ruin my view of the show. Gotcha.
Just quickly off that. Did you enjoy the ending? Was it satisfying for you? I mean, I was a huge Lost fan. I thought the ending was great. I thought the whole series was amazing. But from your perspective, you were in part of it, for a little bit. Did you enjoy where it ended, or did you want to see it go elsewhere?
No, I enjoyed where it ended, because that was one of the things that people were contemplating, and they were blogging about, like, that could possibly be the ending. Mm-hmm. But and one of the things that's really satisfying is to see it done in the best possible way, an ending that you've heard could possibly be. And there were, the reveals were just huge, and they're emotional, because you've taken the journey with these characters. I mean, when she's sitting there and they're doing the ultrasound, and you see the baby and they know the baby's name, it's just like, those moments are just priceless, and they're earned. Yeah. And so I think to have created an ending that wasn't the way they played it out would have been interesting, I'm sure, but you don't want to. I don't know. It was familiar yet revealing and emotional. It was great. It was just so great.
Awesome.